Live from Chicago Stadium in Chicago, Illinois, Pro-Am Sports presents NBA basketball as the Detroit Pistons take on the Chicago Bulls. Hello, everybody. I'm Fred McLeod along with Tom Wilson for Game 2 of the 1985-86 season. And Tom, if tonight is any indication of what might happen in the season ahead, going by what happened last night, we're in for a heck of a season. Last night, a two-point victory that I think a lot of the players are still feeling.
Well, it was an interesting game. You know, we talked before it started about how you could look for the physical element to take place, and they were very physical in the preseason games, but when it came down to the regular season, it seemed like both sides were a little bit tentative in the early going. But the excitement was there, and I know the 24,000 fans certainly went home with their money's worth.
Now, after the game, there was not a lot of backslapping, although the guys were happy to win, obviously. But in the dressing room, not necessarily subdued either, but I think they realized that 24 hours later, they got to play again.
It's like a quiet resolve, and one thing in getting through an 82-game season is not to get too high and not to get too low. And it was an important game, a pivotal game for them that early in the season, but it was just one that sort of built their confidence and let them know that they're maybe as good a team as they thought they'd be.
Chicago Bulls under the new direction of Stan Albeck, of course, a very successful coach in the NBA with Cleveland, San Antonio, New Jersey. Also, they have a new addition, a name you certainly know a great deal about. George Gervin has come over in a trade, so some new faces here.
Well, Gervin's going to be an interesting addition. Right now, they're planning on playing him in a three-man rotation with the great Michael Jordan and Kyle Macy, who they picked up in a trade also. But it's difficult to bring new faces in and meld them in effectively early in the season, so it may take a little while before we see the old George Gervin. For a while, we may see an old George Gervin.
And there had been some controversy in this town on whether or not Michael Jordan would accept a trade for George Gervin, because there was talk last year during the All-Star game that Gervin perhaps didn't like to play against Michael Jordan. What do you think about that situation?
I think it's like the Isiah Thomas, Ricky Mahorn situation. Once they change jerseys and become one of your team, they truly are somebody that's going to be a friend and an associate. And those old wounds heal pretty quickly when they're scoring points and winning games for you.
Kevin Lockery, of course, used to coach this ball club. Any difference, Tom, we'll see tonight in a Stan Albeck-led club?
Well, Stan really likes to get the big guys involved in the game, and they've gone very heavily for some bigger bodies this year. They do like to run. Stan's always been an advocate of the running game, and I think you're going to see him getting out and trying to get the ball in Jordan's hand all the time.
One factor we should point out, last night, Isiah Thomas, for him, had a subpar performance. For a lot of guys, they'd love to have the kind of numbers he had. But so you got to figure that Isiah's going to bounce back and play pretty darn well.
Also, he's coming home, and what a big factor that is. I don't remember the last time he had a bad game in Chicago. He gets a little bit of extra adrenaline going, but Milwaukee, with their big guards, did a good job of taking him out of the game early. He really wasn't looking for the basket last night. Tonight, I think you'll see him put it on the floor and go to the hole a little more than just 24 hours ago.
One other question in Chicago is, can Michael Jordan top last year? Is that possible?
I don't know. You know, there's a lot of theories going around the league right now that the coach is going to have to bear down on Michael Jordan, because if they let him go too free, as he was kind of given a free hand last year, then maybe it'll be Air Jordan all year long, but you won't really have a winning club. He's going to have to meld into a winning team down here in Chicago.
Interesting to see how Stan Albeck is able to maybe put the harness a little bit on Michael Jordan. We'll be back with tonight's introductions. Please stay with us. Well, while the Pistons were deciding their issue with Milwaukee at the buzzer last night, the Chicago Bulls were also playing a very close one on this floor, beating Cleveland in overtime, 116 to 115. So both teams beginning their season with a victory. Let's now get tonight's introduction.
At guard, from McNeese State, 6'3", number 4, Joe Dumars. From Detroit, number 25, 6'5" guard, John Long. From Ohio State, number 00, 6'7" forward, Tony Campbell. From South Carolina, Spartanburg, 6'11" forward, number 35, Mike Gibson. From Indiana, 6'10" forward center, number 54, Kent Benson. From Hampton Institute, 6'10" forward center, number 44, Rick Mahorn. 6'11" center from New Mexico, number 42, Jerome Henderson. And now the starting lineup for tonight's game. At forward, 6'6" from Notre Dame, number 7, At from Detroit, number 23, Earl Cureton. And center from Notre Dame, 6'11", number 40, Bill Laimbeer. And guard from Baylor, 6'2", number 15, Vinnie Johnson. From Indiana, 6'1", guard, number 11, Isiah Thomas. And the trainer is Mike.
There you see the same starting lineup for Chuck Daly as he threw on the floor last night against Milwaukee.
Introducing your
Now they turn out the lights for the
1985-86
Chicago Bulls.
Six-eight guard from Eastern Michigan, the Ice, Gervin.
Man, after 12 years in San Antonio.
6'1" guard, number 7, Billy McKinney.
Kenny was out of basketball last year, came out of retirement.
6'8" forward, number 20, Gene Banks.
Banks played for Stan Albeck for a couple of seasons down in San Antonio.
6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley.
Number 1 draft pick, Division II Player of the Year last year.
Center number 52, Mike Strick.
This guy played his high school basketball in Canada, went on to play at Canisius.
Center from DePaul, number 40, Jay Horn.
Another former Albeck disciple in San Antonio.
And now, the starting lineup for tonight's game. At forward, from Notre Dame, number 0.
Last night he had 35 points and 12 rebounds in a winning effort.
Number 21, Sidney Green.
A former number 1 draft pick who has still not quite lived up to the early promises.
The middle from Seattle, number 33, Juwan Oldham.
Over 48 minutes, he was the second leading shot blocker in the NBA last year.
3, from Kentucky, number 24, Kyle Macy.
Signed an offer sheet with the Bulls, and Phoenix wound up making a trade to get him here.
Guard from North Carolina, number 23, Michael Jordan.
Some say he's already a multi-million-dollar corporation. Orlando Woolridge, Sidney Green up front, Juwan Oldham the center, Kyle Macy, and of course Jordan. Paul Mahalik on your right, and Mike Mathis officiating tonight's ball game. And the question, big question, Tom, in Chicago is whether or not Stan can get consistent play out of his center position, because that really is a situation where he's got to juggle a lot of people.
He has two unique types there in Oldham and Corzine. Corzine, a little better shooter, has a nice jump shot, but in the past has been somewhat hesitant to use it. Juwan Oldham, very limited offensively, but defensively, as you mentioned, blocks a lot of shots and creates a lot of havoc.
Didn't play a lot of minutes last year under Kevin Lockery, but if you project his block shots over a 48-minute game, he averaged 6 a game. Mark Eaton had 7 blocks a game over a 48-minute span. These clubs played it very close, as you can see. Pistons won 1 ball game on this floor, lost another in overtime, lost yet another in regulation by 1 point. Bulls lead the all-time series with ease, but obviously the Pistons have gained some ground the last 3 years. Earl Cureton against Oldham. Won by Chicago. That's the preseason shooting percentages. Jordan off an Oldham, Woolridge pick rather. Cureton with a rebound. Earl had 13 of them last night. 8 of them on the offensive glass. Laimbeer was open. Daly didn't see him there, knocked it away from his own teammate. Not the way Notre Damers were taught to play, right, Tom? Macy will do most of the ball handling along with Jordan. Last night he had 11 of 21 from the floor, Woolridge did. 2-0. But an offensive foul against Cureton. Pistons did even better than that figure last night, and that was a pivotal factor in winning that ball game against Milwaukee. In fact, Trapuka and Laimbeer together were 22 out of 22. Woolridge content to wait for the pattern to develop. Jordan got away from Vinnie Johnson. Seems to hang up in the air forever. 4-0 Bulls. Laimbeer tries, hits it. That's the way he started last night. Bill tailed off in the second half for an 8-for-18 shooting night, but he had a fine first half. Woolridge saw an opening. 6-2 Chicago.
Needs some help from the center position that time. He got by with an open lane to the bucket.
Isiah had the bad pass stolen by Mason. Jordan, a great addition. Sidney Green was fouled by Laimbeer.
The Pistons just not able to get in the flow offensively. They've only taken the one shot by Laimbeer. Good anticipation by Macy. You got to play passing lanes when you're defending against Isiah, because he looks to pass first, particularly early in the game. Good penetration there by Jordan. When Stan Albeck came over to the Bulls, one of his theories was that Jordan could be a point guard. In fact, Jordan can be just about anything he wants to be. But when he has the ball, things tend to happen. And everyone is so aware of him when he drives the lane. If you move to the basket, Michael will find you with the ball.
8-2 the score. Still belongs to the Pistons.
The Pistons may have gotten a break there. It was tipped. It looked like it might have gone off of Trapuka's fingers last. The Pistons trying to force some passes instead of making the easy one.
Earl finally looping it out to Isiah. He'll try a 20-footer. Good. Isiah hits the J.
The Chicago club is not a great one defensively. Offensively, you want to keep Woolridge out there right where he shot.
Laimbeer with the easy rebound. Pistons can draw back within 2. Trapuka to the hole. Tough move. Boy, he took a long step. 8-6. That was the first fast break opportunity. Macy, who had 2 of those last night, nails another three-pointer.
Well, you want to play uptight on Kyle Macy. Doesn't have the real quickness to go around you on offense, but he can stand there and shoot the heck out of the ball.
11-6. Isiah double team. Kelly will try a long one. Good. He's 2 for 2. 11-8. Isiah helped out. Jordan trying to knock in the three-point opportunity. He'll go to the line for 2 shots.
One thing that makes Jordan so good are those great legs. If you're playing him on defense, he gives you that fake. You've got to go with him, because if you wait too long, you'll never have a chance to recover. Jordan, of course, knows that and adjusts, draws a lot of fouls from his defense. Vinnie Johnson giving up a lot of jumping ability, and of course 4 inches in height. Very difficult defensive assignment for Vinnie for the 2nd night in a row.
In addition to making well over $600,000 for the Bulls, Jordan has a contract with the Nike shoe company that pays him close to $500,000 a year. In fact, his Air Jordan shoes last year grossed about $70 million. Vinnie had it blocked, got it back, put it up, he's fouled.
You got to screen Vinnie off when he takes that first shot. Vinnie always follows his shot, goes hard to the offensive boards. Cut his way in there, and when the loose ball came out, drew the foul on Sidney Green. Tough work on the boards for the Pistons tonight. Chicago starting a lineup with 2 6'9" people, and Juwan Oldham also over 7 feet.
Vinnie splitting the pair. Last night, BJ had some tough time shooting 3 of 10. He was 2 of 9 before the game. Jordan off an Oldham pick. A little strong. Rebound Isiah. Pistons down by a couple of hoops. Good pass to Cureton. Like Mathis says, they're a walk, a good call. Pistons with their third turnover. Chicago playing mistake-free basketball thus far.
The advantage a shot blocker gives you. Earl just intimidated when he had the ball down underneath.
Jordan got Vinnie Johnson well off his feet. Should be a foul on Green over the back of Tripucka. It is.
Good job. Kelly's been doing a much better job on the boards in the preseason and also here in the first and second games of the regular season. Kelly giving up so much height at the small forward position that he has to play good position on the boards.
He had 6 rebounds last night. I'll guarantee you Chuck Daly would love to have that from him all season long. Pistons with 10 to put it up. Good pass by Isiah. Woolridge blocked. Isiah trying to make the steal. Out of bounds off Taos. Belongs to Chicago with 19 seconds on the shot clock.
Good job by Isiah. When the ball comes down court to a forward, you want to try and anticipate the dribble. Get a good look at that block by Woolridge. Look for a moment like it might be a pin. Once the ball hits the basket or the rim or the backboard, you cannot touch it on defense.
Wonder if that happened very often at Notre Dame practice sessions. Woolridge blocking Tripucka. Sidney Green off balance. You'll let him take that shot all night. Laimbeer had it taken away by Jordan. Michael just fires again. Oldham all over the back of Isiah. No foul call. Ball went on, I believe a foot touched the baseline, so it belongs to Detroit. Vinny, a lot of time to look at it. He hit it. Johnson with 3. 13-11 our score. Green again. Vinny Johnson and Laimbeer fought for the rebound. That's why they lost it. And Woolridge was fouled.
Now, the Pistons had that problem on 3 or 4 occasions last night in the game against Milwaukee where they had the good position, took it away from each other. You'd rather see that happen than 2 people stand there and watch the ball hit the floor.
Cureton picked up his second foul, so Mahorn will replace him.
Pistons had good play out of Rick Mahorn last night. Came in the third quarter when the Pistons were down by about 8, and he really triggered the comeback. His physical presence really helped a lot in that game.
Pistons wound up outscoring Milwaukee 36-22 in that third quarter last night. Eventually built a 12-point lead in the early portion of the final quarter. 15-11. Woolridge has 6 points. We've nearly played 5 minutes. Isiah dropped it off Mahorn's shoe. And Green walked. Green has never been what people expected, was it, Tom?
No, he's got possibilities. He's been in the league now for about 3 years, and he's been in the doghouse most of the time when he's been here. But last year after the All-Star game, they gave him his head. He played pretty well.
Oldham blocked it. Mahorn tried to save it. Chicago gets the ball back. Stan Albeck has called a timeout. Pistons came out a little sluggish, put on a bit of a spurt, but they're not protecting the ball very well. 15-11 our score, Chicago in front. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the National Basketball Association and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our past subscribers. Any use or reproduction of this game without the express written consent of the Detroit Pistons is strictly prohibited. Early shooting, the Chicago Bulls 4 of 11, Pistons 5 of 8. They've had 3 more shots. Pistons have out-rebounded the Bulls in the early going, 4-3. There you see the NBA menu tonight. This afternoon, Philadelphia took care of Pat Ewing in his debut. Ewing had 18 points, 16 in the first half. I think everyone assumed, Tom, that with Ewing being the #1 draft pick and the great player he is, that he would turn that club into a division contender, but it's going to be a little while, I think.
It's going to be difficult for him because he's not playing with anybody. Until Cartwright gets back and the possibility of Bernard King's return, it's going to be very lonely for him out there on the floor.
Woolridge was out in no man's land, but he nailed it. He has 8. He worked on an outside game, especially 2 summers ago, and it paid off last year. Isiah for 3. Green had the rebound. Pistons down by 6. Oldham with a hook pass. Jordan. 19-11. Isiah with Macy. 7 on the shot clock. 3-second violation on the Pistons.
Nothing happening on the offensive end for Detroit right now. A lot of standing around, making passes around the perimeter. Got to get the ball inside.
Jordan last night had 29 points, second leading scorer for the Bulls in that victory over Cleveland. Green thought about passing, dumped it off, and Oldham. 21-11. Chicago's open a 10-point lead. Isiah got it right back.
Good choice by Isiah. Kyle Macy cannot take him. Pistons making it too easy by staying outside. Isaiah's got to go aggressively inside.
Woolridge off balance. Oldham with a rebound, though. Stolen by Isiah. He beat Green. Macy tries to cut him off. Isiah scores. How about that for a move?
That's great body control. Macy had a good angle on him. Couldn't get Isiah from behind, otherwise it's a technical foul. But hurried the shot. Nice control by Isiah. Good finger roll.
And that patented throw-out dribble of his, for a lack of a better term. You let Oldham take that shot all night. Sidney Green way up in the air for the rebound. He's lucky he's not hurt.
Yes, he is. Detroit having a little trouble boxing out. That foul is going to go on Sidney Green. Get a good look at it here. Vinnie Johnson underneath. Sidney Green going way up for that.
Got to be a foul on him.
I believe that's his 3rd foul. That'll remove him from the game. That's an area that the Chicago Bulls are a little weak. Not a lot of depth on this club. When Billy McKinney makes your squad, it's an indication that you're a little weak in the back.
Macy kicked it, so they'll reset the shot clock. I'm sure we're going to get a look at Charles Oakley, the rookie out of Virginia Union. In fact, here he comes on the floor. 6'9", 245, and he is really put together.
He's a big kid. Has a little trouble with the shot, but a great, great rebounder. Had 9 in only 19 minutes last night in his debut.
Some scouts liken him to Larry Smith of the Golden State Warriors. Vinnie Johnson missed it. Laimbeer kept it alive. Good job. Back out to Isiah or Vinnie. Isiah saved it. VJ again. Good.
It's important for Detroit to have Vinnie Johnson hitting his shots because he's got to make Michael Jordan work a little bit on the defensive end.
Pistons have scored the last 6 points. They're down by 4. Jordan will hit it. Take the shot. Oakley took it right away from Laimbeer. He muscled him that side. Oldham. Hit it. 4 for Oldham. Out of Seattle University in his 6th year, he was literally buried by Kevin Lockery the last couple of years. Vinnie. Real strong. Oldham comes out with it. Laimbeer back. Billy didn't challenge him. 10 points for Woolridge. Vinnie Johnson tries again. Hits it. VJ with a 7-point first quarter. Pistons within 6.
It's a lucky thing for Woolridge. Woolridge probably does not take that shot if it's Mahorn in the back. The player comes at you like that, you've got to challenge him. Don't give him the easy layup. It's college courtesy for old teammates.
Vinnie Johnson with a steal. What do we got?
A foul on Michael Jordan. And a good foul by Jordan. He just grabbed him when Vinnie made the good defensive play.
Jordan's first foul. That's the 4th of the Bulls in the quarter, which has 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining.
Michael has a tendency to get in defensive foul trouble because he always tries to help everybody else out. Hangs around the paint area. On a drive, he'll pick up a lot of slap fouls.
Mahorn rolled, didn't get it back. Laimbeer will try a shot, but he traveled, so wipe out the hoop.
Little trouble handling the ball on the pass from Isiah.
Pistons have gotten, excuse me, Tom, they've gotten 13 of their 19 points from the guard positions tonight.
Well, the turnover is what's killing them right now. That was yet another. I think there's 7.
Exactly. Oakley. Isiah helping out. That's why he's not much of a shooter. Get the women and children out of the way. Pistons on their 8th turnover. Pistons will call a timeout. It comes with 2 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the first quarter, and the Bulls leading 25-19. Coming up tomorrow on Pro-Am Sports, a full day of sports activity, starting at 3:30 with Jackson Harness Racing from Northville Downs. Then at 4 o'clock, it'll be college football. The Virginia Tech Gobblers, Hokies rather, taking on the Florida Gators from Florida Field in Gainesville. Then at 7 o'clock, it'll be inside NASCAR, followed at 7:30 by the Indiana Hoosiers and the Michigan Wolverines from Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. And then at 10:30, the day wrapping up with harness racing from Windsor Raceway. A couple of seasons ago, the Bulls averaged just over 6,000 people a game. Michael Jordan comes to town, and an increase of nearly 90% in attendance, and they go up over 11,000 a game last year.
Well, it's so important to draw in the NBA to have that 1 or 2 identifiable players, people that will bring you out of your seat when you go down to the park. Michael Jordan certainly in that category, as is Isiah. Pistons' fortunes at the gate, of course, turned around when Isiah and Kelly entered the scene. You either have to win a lot or you have to be exciting. If you can be both, you've got it all together.
Of course, there was some question whether or not maybe the Bulls should have tried to go after Hakeem Olajuwon, but I think if they had to do it all over again, they'd definitely go for Michael Jordan, even though Hakeem had a great year as well. But this guy really puts the people in the seats.
The team that really wound up getting criticized was Portland, of course, because they had the option of either Sam Bowie or Michael Jordan. I think everybody felt Jordan would be a great player, but I don't know if anyone believed that he could do all the things that he can do against NBA caliber competition.
Field goal shooting, the Pistons 9 of 15 for 60%. The Bulls are 8 of 16 for 50%. Pistons with those 8 turnovers. Does that surprise you?
They're just not playing very well right now, obviously, Fred. There doesn't seem to be a lot of rhythm to their ball game. Passes seem to be bouncing off their hands. The cuts are not smooth. And that surprised me. I know Chuck Daly was very careful with his club. We talked about it in the pregame. And in fact, the team met on it before they came out to take the floor. Don't get too cocky. Don't get too carried away with last night's game. It doesn't mean a thing unless you win tonight. The last couple of years, the Pistons have had good games on opening night and followed that up the next evening by not really coming to play.
Same 5 out there for Stan Albeck. Ditto for Chuck Daly. Oakley, who is a good passer. Jordan missed it. Isiah comes down with it. Long lead pass to Vinny. Working against Macy. Puts it up and hits it.
Piston guards, be it Vinnie Johnson or Isiah Thomas, when they have Macy on them, you have to think going to the hole. Kyle just unable to react quickly enough to stop either of them.
Vinny's hit 3 of his last 4 shots. Has 9 points. Pistons trail by a couple of hoops. Macy spun away from the Isiah attempted a steal. Should have a jump ball. But it'll be Mahorn and Oakley.
Hey, that's a heck of a match. You've got 2 bruisers out there.
George Gervin in the ball game for the first time tonight.
Be interesting to watch how ice plays out here as we see the jump ball coming. Ricky Mahorn not used to playing against people his size.
Got a loose ball foul on the jump ball.
Well, Chuck's talked often about how important it is for Ricky not to pick up the cheap fouls. When you're going to get them, make sure that they count and make sure somebody scrapes some skin off his arm as he picks himself up. Something like that is a little inexcusable.
His first personal foul. Woolridge with a crossover dribble. Kelly did a good job cutting him off. Gervin leads it for Woolridge. 20-footer. Woolridge with 12. Last night, Gervin only played 16 minutes, missed 6 of 8 shots. Johnson, nope, follows, nope. Took it away from Oldham, but fouled in the process. As Mahorn hit the deck. John Long and Kent Benson reporting for the first time tonight. John played exceptionally well last night off the bench. 17 minutes, 14 points.
Good substitution here with Gervin in the ball game at 6'8". Pistons need as much height as they can get guarding him. As you mentioned, John did play well last night. Had been in a bit of a shooting slump. I think he was 1 for 15 his last pair of preseason games. Came out shooting well.
Do you think he was affected at all in a positive manner in the trade rumors and also the fact that he lost his starting job to Vinny?
I think the fact that you lose your starting job when you just make the assumption, having signed early, that you're going to have it, definitely lends to some competition among the two. Be interesting to watch Gervin play tonight. You know, when you get older, you don't lose your shot, you just lose the ability to get it off.
It's an excellent point. Loose ball foul against Oakley. So Laimbeer steps to the line as the Bulls are over the limit.
Oakley's the type of player that will pick them up in bunches.
Fouls or points?
Mostly fouls, I believe. Just a physical player, and he has to make an adjustment from playing Division II basketball to playing on this level. And the players are so much quicker that you can't get your entire body to compensate for that speed. So you tend to reach and grab, and that gets you in trouble.
Oakley was very impressive, though, in the Aloha Classic, which is annually probably the best barometer of college talent after the season is over. Benson tipped it in. So Benny doesn't waste any time getting on the score sheet. 28-24 is the Chicago lead. Gervin traveled. That might be what you're talking about.
Good call by Mike Mathis also. Little shuffle. Bulls have several people. Woolridge is another one that'll take the long first stride.
Isiah left Macy in the dust. Benson is 2 for 2.
Kent's had such a good preseason this year. In fact, closed out the preseason with 18 points against the Knicks. Probably the best condition that he's been in since he's been a member of the Pistons.
Pistons have drawn within 2. Inside the final minute. Benson tried to come up with a steal. 7 on the shot clock. Isiah took it away. Pistons now with time to work the game clock down. In excess of 9 on the game clock. Laimbeer spotting Isiah back door. He laid it in.
Nice play. You had the double team. Pistons very patient. In a double team, it's not the first pass that counts, it's the second pass.
28-0, and that's a combination that normally goes the other way. Final 5 seconds. Gervin dumped it instead of picked up the gift bucket. 1 second to play, and that'll do it. Gervin should have shot it, and somehow the Bulls come up with a break. Oakley with his first 2 points of the game. So a spirited comeback by the Pistons here in the latter stages of the first quarter. They trail 30-28 at Chicago Stadium. We'll be back on pass. Brett McLeod and Tom Wilson back in Chicago, where the Bulls lead it 30-28. Guests on Piston basketball will receive a gift certificate from Cousin Clothes and Cousins Big and Tall stores, both on Southfield Road between 10.5 and 11.5 mile roads in Lathrop Village. Benson came off the bench for a big lift with 4 points, and last night that power move that he made was one of the better ones you'll see him make.
Well, Benny has to play aggressive. He's giving up a little bit of weight, a little bit of strength usually to the opposing power forward. So if he doesn't play hard and tough, he's going to have a long night.
Isiah double teamed by Dave Corzine, who's in the ball game. Laimbeer with a rare air ball. That's Billy McKinney.
A lot of scrambling defense by Chicago. They're coming at you from different directions. You have to be aware. Laimbeer concerned about his man. It was somebody else that came over on the switch.
McKinney fires. Short. Rebound Benson. Good outlet, passed along. Bulls drop back very well, though, so John will hold it up. Isiah. Rebound Corzine. Corzine has been the recipient of a lot of boos and catcalls in this town the last couple of years. Even though he played his college and high school basketball in this area. Isiah with a great steal. McKinney will never catch it.
That's a little move Isiah puts on. He's got to be careful with that. He just kind of taps the ball up ahead of himself when he's on a break. less knowledgeable referee than Mike Mathis, or a less forgiving one, will call him for a travel.
30-30 our score. Woolridge, long range. He is really confident in that shot. He's always had the power game with the great slam dunks. McKinney tried to act into a foul, and Isiah calmly kisses the glass with a jumper.
Well, Billy knows he's in a lot of trouble out there. Isiah can't post up a heck of a lot of people. Billy McKinney's one of the few in the league that Isiah towers over.
Isiah now 6 of 6 shooting. Six on the shot clock. McKinney just threw up a prayer. Rebound to Oakley. Missed it. Rebound comes down to Isiah. Pistons can take a lead. Good pass to Kelly. Drew the foul from Corzine. No bucket.
It's difficult when you're trying to integrate new people into your lineup, such as the Bulls are, to play a switching zone as Chicago is trying to do, and you wind up with a lot of gaps in there. Key to beating it for the Pistons is a lot of quick ball movement and quick body movement.
John Long to the hole, off balance, he put it down. Corzine fouled him, and John goes to the stripe. We saw him make a move similar to that last night, going strong to the hole. You think, Tom, because of a reputation as John has for an outside shot, that maybe some guys don't expect him to pound it into the paint like that?
Well, usually he doesn't take it to the hole as effectively as he has here in the early going. But it's really going to help John's shot if he can make people aware of the fact that he will go by them.
He's certainly physically strong enough to play that kind of game. 35-32 Pistons lead. Jordan lost Tony Campbell. We got a foul out front. Tony came charging at Jordan after the shot was attempted.
One of the tough things to learn is when to and when not to foul. That time Tony was too late getting there. You've got to put your hands back in your pocket. If you don't have a real chance at bothering the shot, you're not going to accomplish much.
Tony Campbell came over and asked Chuck Daly where was the foul. Chuck says, I don't know.
It's often a foul if you're in the vicinity. That's an aura foul.
I'll have to make a column on my sheet. Aura foul. 35-33 is our score. Jordan with 7 points. Benson misfiring. Campbell the rebound. Didn't look to shoot. Isiah does. And misses. Benson tried for the rebound. Kent pulling down Gervin. He does not get credit for a sack, but he does get a foul.
Good move by Isiah here. Has the open shot. He'll be mad at himself for not making that one. Benson working hard on the boards. Makes a nice tackle here of George Gervin for a 4-yard loss.
That cloud of dust. Bulls looking to tie. Joe Dumars will come back in the ball game. Gervin forcing. Gervin lifetime against the Pistons, averaging over 31 points a game. His first 2 tonight. Isiah missing again. Benson, left-handed. Comes out the bench. That ball just squirted out of there. A new 24 seconds with which. Long, working against Gervin. George fouled him.
That's where Ice is going to have some trouble. But when he was young, he didn't care about defense. Now that he's getting a little older, if he cares, he still can't quite get there. But he has the long arms, and that can cover up a multitude of sins. And also create a few.
Yeah. Jeez. Gervin with a steal. There's his long arms. Foul him better than that. You can't let him get the shot off.
Absolutely right. Got to grab both arms. That's a rookie in awe of the old veteran.
Or hoping that he would not get whistled for the foul.
Kind of a lazy pass that time. Got to make him sharp. Gervin again not even having to be too close on that play to make that steal.
Yeah, it looked to me like Joe just wanted to contest it and not foul him. He did, and nearly was the victim of a 3-point opportunity.
Pistons with a different look than they've shown in the preseason and in the early regular season. They're not playing either Laimbeer or Mahorn at the center position, letting Cureton take the post.
He's up front with Benson and Campbell. Dumars showing ball handling ability, working against McKinney. And Joe drew the foul. McKinney with another foul.
And Billy's in a lot of trouble out there. There's not much of him. He's got good quickness. But Piston guards just taking him inside, and Joe Dumars does not let the quickness of the opposing guards bother him. He has good quickness himself, and he's so strong up top that he just fends them off with the upper body.
This is McKinney's 6th NBA team. As I had mentioned, he was retired from basketball. Was working for a sports equipment company in the Chicago area. And the call went out to him because, frankly, the Bulls were devoid of point guards, even though they had cut Wes Matthews and traded Enos Watley. 37 all-our score.
I always liked Enos Watley a little bit. Used to give Isiah some problems. Not a great shooter, but had some talents.
Watley now plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 37 all. Oakley given room by Benson. Boy, he is an adventure with basketball in his hand. Traveling, gives it right back to Detroit.
Yeah, they cleared out and let him go one-on-one. Pistons kind of grateful. He does not seem to be that skilled, and it's tough for a rookie. You don't know what you can get away with on this level. Division II, they might let you take the extra 2 or 3 steps.
He's got an NBA body, though. Campbell hit it. Tony Campbell not bashful about that one at all. 39-37 Pistons lead. 7.5 to play. Oakley has forced it up knowing he was fouled.
Or knowing he was going to be. I'm telling you, he's like a runaway train. It's like the big kid on the playground that we all grew up with. Or maybe the football player that thought of himself as a basketball player. He used to just come in and beat everybody up on the boards.
Michael Jordan led this club in rebounding a year ago at nearly 6 a game. And Oakley and Jordan have a bet this year of $20 a game that if Oakley at least plays 20 minutes per night, that Oakley will out-rebound Michael. Michael says, no, I'll still win the rebounding battle.
Oakley would if they'd bet a dinner.
39-38, Pistons by 1. Tony Campbell, he's 2 for 2. Pistons by 3, McKinney, nope. Oakley slipped, Benson got the rebound. Good outlet to Long, Campbell in front. Gervin was between them. Tony tries again, hit again. Campbell's 3 for 3. Halleck calling an official's timeout to wipe up some sweat at the other end.
Tony really wanted that shot down there. Jordan had good defense on him. Tony kind of falling back, adjusted his shot and put it right in. Tony's become an excellent, excellent outside shooter.
What a difference he could make, Tom, to this club if he can come off the bench 15 to 20 minutes a night and give Chuck Daly some offense.
Here's an interesting matchup. Tony Campbell is playing McKinney.
And Dumars is on Jordan. Oakley set a pick, so Benson picks up Jordan. Gervin was Long all over him. 5 on the shot clock. Oakley tipped it over. Oakley has 5. Pistons lead is 3 again. Benson cut off by Corzine. Campbell got inside Jordan. Michael. Now it's showtime.
Stop the ball.
Gervin goes in 3. Nobody even challenged. Pistons lead by 1. That turns the crowd on. Somebody's got to challenge him, as you said. Long. Out of bounds to Chicago. The Bulls have called a timeout.
And with that last shot, George Gervin became the 5th leading scorer in the history of the NBA, passing Rick Barry, I believe.
That's right, he needed 5 points. I think it's actually 8th place in the all-time list. Over 24,000 in his career. Next Tuesday on Pro-Am Sports will be our next Pistons telecast. It's 7:30 live from the Silverdome as the Pistons will take on the New Jersey Nets. A lot of folks around the NBA wondering if New Jersey will have a similar playoff-bound season this year, but last night all they did was open the season with a victory over the Boston Celtics. Under the direction of Dave Wohl, Michael Ray Richardson last night with about 2 seconds on the regulation game clock. He had about a 22-footer that sent the game into overtime, and Michael Ray had another fine effort and then wound up scoring some key points in OT to help beat Boston.
Well, he may be an even better player this year than he was last year, because I think Dave Wohl is going to let him run more than even Stan Albeck did. And when Michael Ray is on the move, he's an explosive offensive player.
He's a great ad-lib player.
A lot of people are really afraid of Dave Wohl as a coach because he spent a couple of years under good systems. He was an assistant coach with the Bucks for 3 years, learned a lot about the way Don Nelson likes to play defense. And of course, Nelly has the big guards that are all 6'5", 6'6", and Dave Wohl has inherited a few over there in New Jersey. So they're a team to watch.
In case you noticed something new about the Chicago Stadium, it's a brand new multi-million-dollar scoreboard with the message board in between. Also auxiliary scoreboards around the arena, one of which says Boston 45, Cleveland 44 in the second quarter. It's a great building, though, much like the old Olympia. Really not a bad seat in the house, especially for hockey.
You wonder why they don't build buildings like this anymore. All the new arenas seem to be spread out. This one has a couple of balconies. Seems to bring everybody into the
second quarter shooting, Pistons 6 of 13. Chicago now 4 of 10 as Benson corralled the rebound. Dumars looking for long, couldn't get it to him. Tony finds him on the cross-court pass. Dumars nearly walked, puts up the long J and hits it. Dumars with his first field goal. He has 4 points.
That's important for Joe Dumars' confidence. Last night seemed a little bit tentative on his shots.
Gervin with an ugly hook shot. Rare for him because he'll normally put that one down that close. Foul on Corzine, that's his third.
Not a good foul by Corzine. You know, when you get a little older and you're heavier, such as Corzine, you tend not to move your feet around the boards, offensively or defensively. That gets you in trouble. You let your arms do all the work for you. It's like playing defense. The legs really get the rebounds. Position.
Ken Benson has 6 rebounds already. He has helped spearhead a comeback here that has seen the Pistons bench outscore the Chicago reserves 15-11. Cureton with his first free throw. The Bulls are already over the limit for the quarter with 5 minutes and 44 seconds to play. So the Pistons hopefully can take advantage of that. Not quite that way, but Benson keeps it alive. Campbell, good again. Tony Campbell with an 8-point second quarter. What a lift he's provided. 48-42, the Pistons with a 6-point lead.
Smart play by Tony. He pulled up when he saw Oldham come into the picture. Shot the little jumper. A year ago, he might have just tried to take it right at you.
This may be the best quarter the second-year man from Ohio State has had as a professional. And an offensive foul on the ice. Second foul on Gervin. So the Pistons get it back.
An Emmy for John Long on that one. A couple of years ago in his heyday, George Gervin never would have been given that call.
Is he losing the aura foul? Is that what you're saying? Good pass from Dumars. The shot was blocked. Benson, though, should go to the foul line as Gervin picks up his third.
Nice move by Benny on the roll.
Ooh,
Joe Dumars is such a good passer. Chuck Daly thinks that he may be almost as good a passer as Isiah Thomas is. I'll tell you, when you've got somebody like that out on the floor, it makes everybody else so much better because they're always paying attention. Like the pitcher in baseball that works fast, everybody's up on their toes because they know something's going to happen pretty quick. You don't get lazy.
Gervin sits down with the 3 fouls. Sidney Green reports back in, along with Woolridge. It's Oldham, Woolridge, and Green at the front court spots. Macy has rejoined Michael Jordan, so it's the Chicago starting 5 back on the floor. Pistons lead by 7. Woolridge right around Benson. Just a shot. Kent ripped down his 7th rebound. Good outlet to Dumars. Here comes a 4-on-2 break. Campbell and Cureton got tangled up. Bad break. Both of them wound up filling the left wing. And so it's a turnover.
You got to talk to each other a little bit. But a good fast break by the Pistons, it would have converted itself into an easy bucket.
Campbell nearly fouled Macy. Green was open. He was hammered by Cureton and released Earl. Made sure he didn't make the shot. You got a foul. That's the way you do it. But Cureton has picked up his 3rd foul.
quadrupling the ball, which is fine if you stop the pass, but once the pass is made, you can't react quick enough to stop the basket or the foul.
So Laimbeer comes back into the ball game. And Green misses. Laimbeer back on the floor with 3 first-quarter points.
Pattern of the game similar to last night, because it's been the second team that has really played well for the Pistons and given the Pistons a lead. Last night, the third quarter. Tonight, the second quarter.
Mike Mathis conferring with Stan Albeck. Having an idea what that's about? They're checking Juwan Oldham's knee brace. We were talking before about the Michael Jordan endorsements. He receives $100,000 a year, believe it or not, to wear the branded knee brace that he wears. Money makes money, huh? Campbell, out of his range. Laimbeer put it in. Tony won't get an assist, but it worked just as well. Laimbeer with 5. 51-43, Pistons with an 8-point lead. Sidney Green, pass by Jordan. There's the penetration that you talk about. Green has 5. Long had the shot, passed it up for a shorter one, missed it. And John, in his exuberance to get the basketball back, went over the back of Jordan.
His first penalty.
First foul on John. But the Pistons are now over the limit with 3:56 to play till halftime.
If you're defending John, you want to see him put the ball on the floor. He's such a deadly outside shooter when he has time to stand there, square up to the basket, and rock and shoot.
There you see the graphic on George Gervin, moving into 7th place, over 25,000 points on the all-time NBA list, headed, of course, by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Somehow Rick Barry's ego was probably damaged a little bit there, you think? Rick still has an ego, doesn't he, Tom?
Oh, it's fairly legendary around the NBA. But he did a lot of things to give himself a big ego, to deserve it.
Oh, yeah, he was quite a player. What an offensive scoring machine. Pistons have out-rebounded the Bulls 21-13. Isiah and Dumars now running the show in the backcourt. Laimbeer a turnaround, little firm. Green and Jordan lost the rebound, but Macy was there to save it.
Pistons having trouble in the half-court game. They've been more effective when they've been able to run.
Jordan just got out of control, and he's hit with a traveling violation. Crowd here feeling that Michael should never be guilty of any infraction.
Daly obviously very pleased with the play of Tony Campbell tonight. He's letting him play.
Isiah blew by Macy, missed the shot. Credit Woolridge was coming over to change the arc on that one.
Hit Isiah in the head. You can see him wincing as he came back down the court. No call.
Dumars poked it away from Jordan, out of bounds. Also took the baseline away from Michael.
Isiah came out and talked to Mike Mathis. Mike in perfect position, but he missed the call on the drive.
3:10 to play to intermission. Foul on Isiah, trying to stay with Macy.
Just a frustration foul by Isiah. Sometimes when things don't go right and it's a bad call, it doesn't go in his favor as he believed. He'll overreact, play a little tougher on defense, and pick up a cheap one. He's getting better at that, though.
That's his first personal foul.
You foul Kyle Macy in a penalty situation, you can almost give up the 2 points.
He led the NBA last season with that figure of nearly 91%. How do you like that one?
That's why I said almost give up the 2 points.
Always cover yourself.
I'm learning this business.
Yes. Isiah among the trees, leaves it for Laimbeer. Missed it, but they had plenty of time. Mahorn tipped it in for about 6 feet. Tipped it in for about 6 feet.
I don't know if he intended to do that, but he sure got a nice roll off the rim.
Better check the ball for blood. Pistons by 5. Woolridge again. I'm amazed at the improvement in his outside game. 16 for Orlando. Pistons lead is 3.
Detroit's going to have to adjust their defense on him. He's hit too many now. He's proven that he can do it.
Isiah nets it. He has 14. He's foul than his entire point output of a night ago. With a cheap foul, Isiah Doyle. Hate to pick up his second foul in that kind of situation. 2 minutes and 18 seconds to play in the second quarter. The Pistons lead at 55-50 here on Pro-Am Sports. Well, again this season, you subscribers are invited to stump us with your Pistons trivia questions. Now, if your question is selected and used on our telecast, Pass and the Pistons will send you 2 free tickets for an upcoming Pistons home game. Send your trivia questions to Pistons Trivia Contest, 500 Stevenson Highway, Suite 204, Troy, Michigan, 48083. Well, I have tonight's winning question at halftime and try to stump Tom as he is still undefeated, 3-0.
We've seen a lot of different combinations for the Pistons tonight, Fred. Chuck Daly has a little more flexibility than he's had in the past. I think however good he is at coaching X's and O's, his greatest strength probably is his ability to deal with the players and to get them to play for him. And that's going to be very important because I think minutes of playing time and the desire for minutes of playing time is going to be a bit of a controversy around here.
And he knows that. But I think that boils down to that very fact of how he gets along with his players, which obviously is exceptionally well. It's got to be for the good of the team.
Chuck, one of the things I'm sure he told Isiah in that timeout was try and keep your hands in your pockets for the next 2 minutes and 18 seconds. He got into foul trouble last night, ultimately fouling out of the game with a couple minutes to go. Pistons need him too desperately down the stretch.
He has those 2 personal fouls. The Pistons with a lead of 3. Jordan with a steal. Now a 3-on-1 break, 3-on-2 as Campbell comes back. Dumars tried to take it away from Sidney Green and wound up with a foul.
Joe has that great rookie confidence, but he made a mistake. He let Michael Jordan take the ball away from him. That looked like a good steal on the part of Dumars there. Didn't see any hand on flesh.
Didn't look like it.
Rookies are not going to get many breaks in this league on calls.
Especially when you've played at McNeese State. Some rookies come in with a quick ticket, as Jordan certainly did, and Akeem Olajuwon.
Obviously, Chuck very, very high on Dumars. You could tell by the fact that in the pivotal game against Milwaukee in the last 6 minutes, who was on the floor? Joe Dumars. Not long with Vinny Johnson.
Vinny back on the floor, though, this time. Coming with less than 2 minutes to play in the half. Sidney Green wound up on BJ. Jordan has Laimbeer on it. Vinny set a screen. Laimbeer missed again. Woolridge with a rebound. Just good position against Campbell. Bulls looking to go in front. Green. Sidney Green with 9. Bulls lead at 56-55. Mahorn a turnaround. Nope, Campbell good position. Drew the foul from Oldham.
Good job by Tony. I think he had an easy layup. Didn't know exactly where Oldham was. Knew he'd be coming. So he showed him the ball, took it away, got hammered, and wasn't able to get the ball back up to make the basket.
I think initially he was more concerned about Green, and then when he saw that he was no factor, then decided to put it up, and Oldham caught up with him. Campbell, a fine free thrower, has 9 points, all in this quarter. Last year, 80% from the stripe for Tony. That puts the Pistons back in front by 1. Winding our way down to the 1 minute mark to play in the second quarter. Jordan, head fake on Vinny Jackson. Jordan with 13. Bulls regain the advantage. On the shot clock. Campbell worked free. He was wide open. Mahorn with an offensive board. Oh, should have been a foul call there. Now we got a jump ball. I'll tell you, you could hear the hand slap against the arm and no call.
Well, Mike Mathis has been no help for the Pistons tonight. That's several obvious calls that he's missed.
When you hear it, you know there's got to be a foul there. 36 seconds to play.
The Pistons should control this tap, but an early jump that time.
Vinny took it away. Good bounce pass to Campbell. Too high off the glass. Laimbeer followed it up and in.
Tony just intimidated that time as he went in. Saw a lot of big people. Bulls going with the 7-foot Corzine and even taller Oldham up front. Makes it difficult to control boards.
Pistons by 1. 10 seconds for the Bulls to shoot. In excess of 5 on the game clock. Jordan working on Vinny. Isiah helped out. And Johnson picked up the foul.
Pistons have been picking up an awful lot of fouls on jump shots tonight. If you can keep a guy outside that circle behind the free throw line, you want to let him shoot. You want to bother the shot, but you sure don't want to pick up the foul that far out.
Jordan now 8 of 9 from the stripe tonight.
Pistons with plenty of time on their final possession.
Jordan with 15, 9 seconds to play until halftime. Pistons looking to go into the dressing room up by a point. Laimbeer fights it up. Missed it. And the rebound. You think he had to force that shot?
There's no kind of play there. Pistons had 9 seconds. You shouldn't have to take a 3-point shot in that situation. I think Lamb maybe lost control of the clock that time.
So the Pistons trail 60-59 in intermission. Stay with us. We'll have a chat with Chuck Daly and our trivia contest winner when we come back. Fred McLeod and Tom Wilson back in Chicago. The Pistons had a 6-point lead in the second quarter, spearheaded by the play of Tony Campbell and Ken Benson, but then the Bulls put together a pretty good surge to get themselves back into the lead, which is now 1 at halftime.
The Pistons probably are feeling, well, they're not pretty good, but they should feel pretty good to have played the way that they played in the first half and still be in the ball game, turning the ball over incessantly in the first quarter. But that second unit came on, and as you mentioned, with Tony Campbell's play and Kent Benson's sparkling play on the boards, they've put a little spurt together. It's the starters that really have let them down tonight.
This was a game that Chuck Daly was actually concerned about coming in with pretty good reason, because they had the emotional victory last night at home with Milwaukee. You're playing Chicago on their own floor. You've got to come right back, travel, and try and beat a club that may be better than some people think. And Chuck was concerned about coming out here and seeing his team maybe flat, but they certainly must smell a chance to win this ball game. Chuck, before the ball game, chatted with Johnny Kerr, the Chicago Bulls television broadcaster. Let's hear some of that conversation.
We're here at halftime in the Chicago Stadium. I'm visiting with Chuck Daly, the coach of the Detroit Pistons. Now, Hawk Harrelson left the announcing booth and went to take over the Chicago White Sox. Well, here's a guy that did basically the same thing. Is it tough?
This is a lot harder. I love, you guys are stealing in that business. I tell you, that announcing is a great way to go. This is a hard way to go.
I remember your hair being a little bit lighter before you sat on the Pistons bench.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it's mine. Some people accuse it of not being my own hair.
Well, you've done a great job, Coach, and actually the winningest percentage coach in Detroit's history, and a chance to bypass all of them very shortly. Let's talk a little bit about your last night's game. Everybody had very close games last night. You beat the Milwaukee Bucks right at the buzzer on a shot by Vinnie Johnson.
Yeah, I think when the opening game, when you have a week to prepare for a team, most of the games are going to be close, and I think that's what happens in that situation. In our particular game, we were up 12 with about 3.5 to go, dissipated the lead, and they tied it up, and we got lucky to hit a shot. Vinny snuck in there and put it back up.
You know, we have had some great rivalries over the years with the Pistons. Last year, the two clubs split 3-3, and we believe we've got one of the most exciting players in the league in Michael Jordan. Of course, I believe you've got one of the best point guards in Isiah.
Yeah, we really do. He's one of those gifted players, as is Jordan, and they're a delight to watch. I get the feeling, and probably you feel the same way. I know when I was with Philadelphia, you'd sit there every night and watch Julius. You'd say, you know, you may never see these things done again. And people have to come and see them because they are truly gifted people.
You know, you seem like you're set with a lot of your players. Bill Laimbeer has done such an outstanding job. We mentioned a little bit about Vinnie Johnson. But how about Rick Mahorn? Big trade for you.
Yeah, Rick came to us in a trade for Danny Roundfield, and Rick's been a little slow rounding into shape. He was in foul trouble 6 of the 8 exhibition games, but he's come on very strong last week, and actually last night probably had a lot to do with winning the game. He had a very big second half, dominated the paint, and I'm hopeful he can do it again tonight.
Well, it's going to be a long season, a brand new one. The Bulls starting off 1-0 against you earlier this evening, and you 1-0 against them, so it should be a lot of bit of fun. I want to thank you very much for visiting me, Chuck, and we'll be back for more halftime festivities here from the Chicago Stadium right after this message.
60-59 our halftime score. The Bulls in front. Tonight's trivia question. And again, we remind you to enter our contest. Simply send your question to Pistons Trivia Contest, 500 Stevenson Highway, Suite 204, Troy, Michigan, 48083. Now, tonight's question, who are the only two Pistons who have led the league in points per game? Think about that, Tom. Tom quickly wrote down his answer, so I think he's got it. But again, it's who are the only two Pistons to lead the NBA in scoring during the franchise history. I'll give you a chance to think about it, too, because this guy takes all the fun out of it by, oh, I know that one. No. While you think about it, let's take a look at this little feature called Hooked on Classics Part 2. I think you'll enjoy it. Well, the Bulls are back on the floor, as are the Pistons, just moments away from the tip-off, or resumption, I should say, to the second half. Michael Jordan, kind of a quiet 15 points, Tom, getting most of those points at the foul line, so he's not been a dominating force here tonight. And I guess if you figure, well, he's going to get his 30, but you don't want people like Sidney Green or Juwan Oldham to hurt you in the second half.
Now, the Bulls are essentially a two-man team, and with the absence of Quentin Daly, who's almost getting a scholarship to drug rehabilitation school, they're not going to have anybody else, with the exception maybe of Gervin now, that's going to come out and hurt you. So as you say, maybe you give them their 25 to 30, but you've got to control the supplementary players that they have. There's no one there that can really hurt you if you play good, solid defense on them.
Laimbeer had some shooting troubles in the first half, 2 of 6 from the floor unofficially. We're still waiting for the official first half numbers, but you got to figure he's going to heat it up a little bit in the second half. And the Pistons, as you say, in a situation not particularly playing their top flight basketball, but still down by 1. As a coach, do you look at it like that, or do you talk about that in the dressing room and say, hey, look, we're not playing very well, but we're hanging tight, so don't despair?
I think Chuck probably went after him pretty good, because everything that he warned them against doing tonight, they have probably done. The defensive intensity has not been there. There's not been the smoothness that really belongs. I'm having a little trouble saying this. The smoothness that belongs on their offense when they really control their running game. So he just wanted to say it's a one-point game. We're probably lucky to be where we are. We've got a great chance to take this one home and be 2-0. You want to get the momentum going early in the season.
All right, tonight's trivia question. Again, who are the only two Pistons to have led the NBA in scoring in one particular season? Tom has a sheepish little grin because he already knows the answer, but you and I can play along anyway.
I would say that's George Yardley, who was the first man, I think, to score 2,000 points when he led the league in scoring, and Dave Bing in his second year.
How many points did they score?
A lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Right again. Dave Bing, 67-68, averaged 27.1. George Yardley, 57-58, averaged 27.8 points per game. That's why you don't do color on World Series baseball and you do it on Pistons basketball, because you know the NBA.
We're on a roll this year.
Yes, I can see that. See if you can go 82-0. That, again, the winning question submitted by Dolores Williamson of Rochester. Dolores will receive 2 free tickets to an upcoming Pistons home game, courtesy Pro-Am Sports and the Pistons. Any particular matchup in the second half that we should keep a close eye on? George Gervin didn't really make much of an impact in the second quarter when he came off the bench with 6 points.
Got an early foul trouble. You know, George is going to be a beat slow when he's playing with a lot of new players. It's difficult to make that transition the last day before the regular season starts. But Pistons have to be happy with the play they've received from their bench. Joe Dumars has played well. Tony Campbell particularly gave Kelly Tripucka quite a bit of rest. I think one thing you'll have to look for is for Isiah to be a little more aggressive offensively in the second half, which is his nature, and also for Bill Laimbeer to be more of a part of the offense. Just hasn't been hitting his shots in the early going.
Isiah has certainly looked to shoot quite a bit more tonight. We'll get into that in a second, but take a look at the team numbers. Pistons with 12 more shots than Chicago. That's pretty significant. And they have had 6 more field goals, shooting 48% compared to 47.5% for the Bulls. But unlike last night when the Pistons probably won that game at the foul line, the Bulls are staying in it. 21 of 26 from the line at nearly 81%. Pistons have dropped off from last night's figure to 69%. Pistons leading the battle of the boards at 25-20. Turnovers, 11 for Detroit, 9 for Chicago. And the bench differential, quite substantial. 26 for the Pistons, 15 for the Bulls. Tony Campbell and Kent Benson with 16 of those 25 points off the bench.
I think as the season goes on, that's going to be one difference between these two clubs. Stan Albeck really with not much to go to off of his bench, and Chuck Daly with a lot of options this year. The addition of Joe Dumars really helps him in that guard rotation. He can afford to have his guards play more aggressively, to trap a little bit more on defense than they have in the past.
Isiah, good little dish-off pass to Cureton. Earl was fouled. You mentioned Isiah looking to be more offensive tonight with the basketball. He's already taken 11 shots. He only took 10 the entire game last night.
He's got a little better matchup tonight than he had last night. Last night he was going against Moncrief a little bit and Craig Hodges, but when Hodges would sit down, sometimes it would be Paul Pressey that was on him. Now going against Kyle Macy one-on-one, you can play a little bit more free and loose, particularly when Kyle is replaced by Billy McKinney. Then you have to look to the hole.
Cureton split him again. So Earl with 2 points. And it's a 60-60 tie. 15 seconds into the third quarter. Jordan glided by Cureton, no swatted away. Oldham came up shy. Sidney Green grabbed the rim after he missed.
That's a technical foul.
But it wasn't called. Isiah thought about shooting. Instead, threw the errant pass, and Jordan got the steal. Macy up the floor, leaves it for Michael. Stops and pops. Joanne Oldham fouled it in. Oldham with 7 points. 62-60 Chicago. Isiah missed on the leader. And we got a loose ball foul on Laimbeer. That's his second foul.
Chuck up yelling at Earl. There's a sideline left, which meant that Earl was actually on the wrong side of the court. They were trying to run a clear out for Isiah along the right side. You do want to get Isiah in a situation where it's just he and Macy.
So much more quicker than Kyle. Woolridge missed. Laimbeer did a good job boxing out Oldham, who fouled him going up the back.
It's a very quiet thing that Bill Laimbeer does. He plays such good position on the boards that he'll force many better centers, better jumping centers and taller centers to get in foul trouble. And he'll frustrate them just by putting his body on them on the boards.
Jordan with his 11th shot. He's only hit 3 field goals, but he's 9 of 10 from the foul line. Isiah double teamed by Macy and Oldham. Got it back. Missed it. There's quick thinking, but that's instinct. The ball just barely knocked away, and Isiah with the opportunity to dribble out of trouble.
Well, Stan Albeck very aware of what the Pistons are trying to do also with the isolation. But Isiah also a player that will get you in foul trouble, particularly big guys. He'll take it right at big guys, and he has such great body control that he will make the adjustment before they can. Isiah really initiates the contact, but the big men are the ones that get in foul trouble.
Well, Oldham, who fouled out last night against the Cavaliers, sits down with 4. Isiah hits the pair. He has 16 points. The Pistons back in a tie ball game, and Dave Corzine's on the floor.
That's a better matchup for the Pistons. He and Laimbeer, similar physical types, but Billy more skilled.
Far better rebounder than Corzine. Kelly hooked Green, but a traveling violation. So there's no foul.
You want to see the ball in Green's hands if you're for the Pistons. Because Sidney's still not skilled. Doesn't handle the ball well, doesn't pass it well, can't dribble it.
Laimbeer threw the foul and he put it down. Sidney Green picked it up. Bill Laimbeer checking with Mike Mathis to make sure that the bucket counts. He says, yes, it does.
There again, Laimbeer, as we mentioned last night, likes to use that move when he gets down on the baseline, shows the defense the ball, and then pulls it back after they've committed themselves, leans into them just a little bit to draw the contact and go to the line. And there's really never enough contact because you see the defensive player trying to avoid the foul. There's not enough contact to stop him from getting a pretty good shot at the hoop.
Sidney Green with his 4th foul. He sits down as Laimbeer misses. Gene Banks in the ball game tonight for the first time, replacing Green. Woolridge to the glass that time. He has 18, 64 all.
Orlando's opened that move up for himself by shooting outside so well tonight.
Trapuka was open on the double team.
Basket count.
Count the bucket. Is it illegal defense?
I believe so, and on an illegal defense call, which they have been playing, they've been in that 2-man trap over in the corner. When there is a zone call, if the shot is released while the zone is being called, if it goes in, it counts. If it doesn't, then it's the offensive team's ball out.
Don't see that happen very often. That's why you got to follow through on a whistle. Kelly with 6 points. Vinny Johnson knocked it away. He thought Jordan was over his back. Paul Mahalik says foul on VJ.
Get a good look at it here, saying that Vinny used that left arm to fend off Michael Jordan. That's a pretty tough call.
That's a superstar call.
Yes, it is.
Vinny with his 4th personal foul. Corzine threw up a prayer. Jordan fought for the rebound. Missed the shot though. Pistons got to break that time. Vinny off balance. He traveled good play.
Good defense by the Bulls. You know, when Vinny gets the ball low, he's going to look to shoot it. Chicago scouting him well. Immediately when Vinny took it down near the paint, they doubled on him.
Macy for 3. Hit the bracket long with a rebound. Was replaced Vinny. Pistons looking to bump the lead to 4. They led by 6 in the first half. Isiah lost Macy again, out of bounds to Detroit with 14 seconds to shoot.
Pistons doing a good job of getting penetration from Isiah, but the Bulls are reacting very well.
Long fell down. Isiah double teamed again. Somehow got it to Cureton. Good pass to Laimbeer, and Billy just exploded to the hole. If you can say that about Laimbeer, but he threw it hard. Woolridge goes for the Cureton hit the deck.
Well, it's not the best defensive technique you'll ever see.
No, didn't scare Woolridge. Isiah, though, practically the other end.
Got to be a call on that. Dave Corzine hit Isiah right in the face with the left arm. You can see the contact coming. That's a foul you could anticipate with a whistle.
Isiah with 18. Pistons lead by 4, 70-66. Jordan walked, and they finally called him.
I think Michael was surprised that he was covered. He turned around. Trapuka was right there in his jock. Pulled the ball back, and that's what caused the trouble.
Pistons isolate for Isiah against Macy. Jordan helps out. Somebody's got to be open. It's Kelly. 18-footer. Good. Trapuka with 8. Isiah will find you if you're open.
Pistons playing the double team much better in the second half, an adjustment that Chuck Daly was able to make.
Macy was open as Isiah helped out. Macy missed a shot. Laimbeer with a rebound. 3-on-2 break. Here comes Isiah down the middle. He's fouled by Woolridge.
Isiah just beat Macy. Watch the contact there. A little bit from Dave Corzine. Isiah with that great quickness. Able to avoid getting seriously hurt by the big fellow.
Pistons have come out and hit 5 of their first 7 shots to start the second half. Chicago 3 of 11.
Pistons a much better club than Chicago. Much better personnel. It's really important to jump on them early. You don't want them to have a feeling that they can beat you.
Especially on their floor. Isiah with 20. Pistons have inched that lead to 8. That's their largest. 7:45 to play in the third. Alley-oop goes off the forehead of Jordan. Corzine claimed it. Michael used his head for that assist. Corzine now. And Isiah with a magical move of his own. He's got 22.
Stan Albeck's going to have to look at getting somebody off the bench to take Kyle Macy's place. Pistons keep running a one-man game over there every time down the floor.
Hope Stan doesn't try to trip him. Cureton trying to handle Woolridge, who finally missed a shot. 3-on-4 break. Isiah patiently gives it to Tripucka. Kelly fires and misses. Rebound, Corzine. Pistons by 8. Corzine, long-range jumper. Dave Corzine with his first 4 points of the ball game on the last 2 jumpers.
David can make that shot. Pistons lazy coming back on defense. Isiah back picking up Woolridge. That left a mismatch. Nobody picked up the big people.
Kelly working against his former Fighting Irish teammate. Missed the shot. What do we got? Loose ball foul against the guys in blue. Laimbeer picks it up. Billy barking. Getting close to a technical foul if he's not careful. And Mike Mathis says, you weren't careful enough. That'll inspire the crowd. A technical foul on Laimbeer.
Have to see that again. Really known for pushing off a little bit in his career. And Dave Corzine did move quickly out of bounds, but he doesn't usually get that irate. Laimbeer doesn't, unless it's justified.
Chuck Daly now asking for an explanation from Mahalik. Kyle Macy, a 91% free thrower a year ago, will shoot the tee.
It's an expensive foul that time on Laimbeer. Not only does it take away a Piston basket, but it gives the Bulls 1 more point. 9-point switch.
Let's see if we can spot it.
Good drive by Kelly. And he gets caught down there with the Bull defense collapsing on him. It's a tough shot there. Either Billy Laimbeer is real strong, or Corzine sort of accentuated the push. It's a good move. On the other end of the floor, you'll see Bill Laimbeer do that a lot himself. A little bit of contact and go into the action.
It's Laimbeer's 3rd personal foul, so that could be a concern. On Wednesday night here on Pro-Am Sports, at 7 o'clock, the evening will begin with Jackson Harness Racing from Northville Downs. Then at 7:30, college football. It'll be Oklahoma State taking on Kansas from Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas. The Cowboys and Jayhawks mixing it up. Then at 11 o'clock, trackside at Ladbroke DRC. All on Pro-Am Sports on Wednesday night. So Macy now has 5 points. And the Piston lead, which was 8, is down to 5. Now watch Laimbeer right here. The left arm.
There was enough contact there that it could be a justifiable foul call.
Different angle this time. It looked like Corzine's momentum from that angle might have caused him to fly out of bounds as much as a little bit of a shove in the back.
I'm going to say, when you weigh close to 300 pounds, as Dave Corzine does, it's hard to imagine that Laimbeer with a little bit of left arm would push him that far, that violently. He was really moving towards Orlando Woolridge.
Now you know why they call that little guy Pumpkin. What a cutie. Bulls only 5 of 15 from the floor, adding up to the 33% figure for the 3rd quarter. Pistons 6 of 9 for their percentage. Macy was left open.
That's a good play for the Bulls. Everyone's so conscious of Jordan. They had to double up on him. They did. At least Macy can't give Macy some shots.
Isiah takes Macy to the hole, missed the shot. Laimbeer missed the putback. Rebound to Macy. That's a big miss. Chicago can cut it to 1. Crowd getting back in the game. Could be a traveling foul. We're going to count the hoop. Boy, I'd love to see a replay of that one. How Woolridge got from about 18 feet into the lane with maybe a dribble. I don't know. There's a walk.
I don't think there's much question about it.
Gotta be a walk.
Some pivotal calls putting the Pistons in trouble here in the 3rd quarter.
And a double dose of trouble because Laimbeer picked up his 4th foul on the play. Woolridge, just like that, ties up the ball game. He has 23. 6th tie of the ball game. Mahorn has replaced Laimbeer. Isiah through the double team. Good dish off to Mahorn. Defensive play of the night right there. Mahorn had 2 registers. Jordan wide open. Pistons may need need a timeout here. They're down by 2, 78-76.
That's about a 10-point run for the Bulls. Pistons need to stop the action here and regroup.
Kelly, good dish off to Cureton, blocked by Jordan.
It's about time.
Second foul on Jordan. That'll put Cureton at the line. The Bulls have scored the last 7 points to burst into the 2-point lead.
Good dish off by Trapuka that time. Important for Detroit to go aggressively to the hole as Cureton did. Bulls already have several players in foul trouble.
Earl banged that one in. He has 3 points, all at the stripe tonight.
Pistons have been relying, as we've said, on Isiah Thomas's action on the offensive end, working one-on-one with Macy. That should open some things up, as we have seen Jordan's hand.
John Long trying his hand on Jordan. Might have an illegal defense warning. We do. That's the first against the Pistons. Each team now with one whistle of that variety. It'll be a technical foul if either team is assessed a warning from here on.
Tough matchup for the Pistons now. Kent Benson on Orlando Woolridge, and Woolridge with that great quickness will be a fistful for Kent.
Long stays with Jordan. Michael threw it up. We got an offensive foul.
Good call. Good call. He really did. He leaned into John Long that time a little bit with the elbow.
There's the foul situation. Vinny and it should be Laimbeer with 4 personal fouls. Cureton with 3. Jordan now has 3. Pistons looking to regain the lead. Mahorn a 14-footer. Nope. Rebound Banks.
Not the shot you really want in that situation. Got to pick up Mason.
Pistons had a lot of time in the shot clock, but that went up. Drive into the hole. 77 Chicago. Banks with his first field goal. Trapuka. He's not shot very much tonight. Benson nearly walked. Kelly will fire now. Nope. Rebound Porzingis. Bulls by 3. Pistons really need a timeout. 4:15 to play in the third quarter. Backdoor pass to Jordan, a little too strong. Out of bounds to the Pistons.
Benson was alert. When you're playing the Bulls, if you see Jordan go down on baseline, that's where they like to lob from, as he cuts down the baseline. Benson cheated off his man for just a moment.
Inside 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Pistons trailing by 3. Not much movement offensively now. Kelly got free from Banks, put it up, get it out. Albeck saying hurry down the floor. Isiah with a steal, 2-on-2. Benson fills the left lane, 3-on-2. Comes down the lane and blew it. Benson blew the layup. Here comes Chicago. Benny's got to dunk that basketball. Crossover dribble, swept by Isiah. Mahorn picks it up. Here comes Kelly with Isiah, 2-on-2. Drives, fouls, nearly in. Kelly goes to the foul line.
That's a good foul for Detroit because it allows them to get their composure back. Pistons probably could have used a timeout somewhere along the line, as you've mentioned several times, Fred. Chuck really prefers to let his players, when they get into a situation like this, play it out. See if they're not strong enough mentally. As the season goes on, he'll call those timeouts.
Trapuka with his 9th point, looking for 10. Chicago, I'm sure, remembers that 56-point onslaught at the Silverdome. Can't tell what that chant is from the Chicago Stadium crowd. Bulls lead by 1. Woolridge short. Banks missed it. Tries again. He stayed after it. Gene Banks with 4. The chant was, "We want ice." For ice, George Gervin. Timeout for the Pistons. It comes with 2 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the third quarter. And the hometown Bulls back in the lead here at 82-79. We'll be back. It's picking up hot and heavy here. Well, during that last flurry, Rick Mahorn caught an elbow or a forearm, something in the mouth. Tended to during the timeout by Piston trainer Mike Abdenauer. Rick checking to make sure all the incisors are in place. Apparently he's okay. They've also made a correction at the scorer's table. Bill Laimbeer has 3 personal fouls, not 4, and they've given one of those to Earl Cureton, who has 4.
You've got to be careful right now. Ricky Mahorn was visible with somebody slugging him under the basket, and you don't know how he's going to react. He's going to want to go down there and take it out on somebody, if he's just going to want to play.
I would imagine he'll react physically. Let's see if it's under control. That's the question. Being guarded by Corzine. Ricky says, give me the ball down low. Works his way inside, a little strong. Rebound Mahorn. Here comes George Gervin in the ball game for the first time in the second half. Woolridge was cut off by Isiah. Foul on Benson. Third on Benny.
Good ball movement by the Bulls that time. Pistons in a double team over in the corner, and they kicked it out to Macy. It left somebody open. Woolridge a little quicker than the Piston big men that are on the floor right now. One disadvantage in his game, when he puts the ball on the floor, he will travel at least half the time, but 2/3 of that time they won't call it. Watch his first step when he has a chance to set up, though.
Woolridge still perfect at the foul line. He has a 25-point game going. He had 35 last night. Bulls have inched the lead to 5. Isiah was double-teamed and fouled with Gene Banks. His second. So Isiah goes to the strike.
Pistons not getting much offense out of anyone this second half other than Isiah Thomas. He led him into the lead. But when other people have started shooting the ball, they've not been able to hit. It's been a cold team other than Isiah.
Wouldn't you say their half-court game was effective last night more than tonight?
Really, it was, and they haven't been stopping them. They haven't been stopping the Bulls effectively enough on the defensive end, because that's when they can trigger the running game. When they can run at least every 3 times down the court, it seems to pick everybody else up. Because as you run, you're going to get the passes from Isiah, and he's at his best in the running game. This has been forced to slow down because Chicago scored every time.
Isiah has 24 points. It's a 3-point differential. Gervin fires. Nope. Rebound Benson uncontested. Isiah wants to run. He's got Mahorn and Long in front of him. Bulls did a good job dropping back. Isiah was stripped. Out of bounds to Detroit.
You know, the Bulls run into the same problem that the Pistons are running into now. When one man dominates the ball, a la Jordan or Isiah Thomas, everyone else sometimes tends to stand around.
Mahorn turns on Corzine the other way. Missed the shot badly. Benson, though, got the rebound. This is another chance. 1:35 to play in the third. They're down 3.
Ricky's got to get the ball closer to the hoop. He's fading away and on the move when he's shooting the jumper.
Want to have him shooting from 10 feet and closer. Long to the hole, off balance, put it down, he's fouled. How about that for John?
I think John was in one of those what do I do now situations. He kind of threw it up backhanded almost. He's going to get banged. Look at this. Excuse me. It counts, though, and gives the Pistons a chance to tie for the score again.
Just wonder if John is maybe concentrating on going to the hole more. He's a strong enough player to do it. As you said before, that will only make his outside game more effective. Big 3-point play by Long. He has 6 points. 84-84. That was in the Isiah Thomas mold. Gervin. Long did a good job defensively. Nice man missed it. Mahorn on the rebound, outletting to Isiah. 2-on-3 with Long on his right. Isiah flips it up. Where Benson holds it down. There you go, Benny. That's what you wanted before. 86-84 Pistons. Woolridge was fouled by Benson.
Not a good foul by Kent, but what a move by Benson at one end. And Woolridge at 6'9", putting the ball behind his back to lose Kent at the other. That's as strong a move as you'll ever see Kent Benson make. Watch Benny come in, rips the ball off, and boom. Like an athlete.
Woolridge
Watch
looking to...
I was going to say, watch that move by Woolridge. I'm telling you.
The knock on Woolridge is that he's been a terrible rebounder and not much of a defender. He's always been an offensive machine, particularly down low, but he's starting to work on the other aspects of his game. He's certainly strong enough. Isiah out of the ball game for a while. Benny Johnson has replaced him. Mahorn a little closer, missed it. Had a better shot at it though. 86 all.
When Ricky shoots that turnaround, Pistons have no one under the basket, so he's got to make that shot.
Woolridge had it stripped by somebody. John Long with Macy and Corzine in front, goes strong to the hole, missed it, puts it back up and in. Long never quit on it. Long with 8. Chuck Daly saying, way to work, John. 88-86 Detroit. What a ball game we've got here tonight. Final 20 seconds of the quarter ticking down.
Once again, the bench bringing the Pistons back.
It's a good sign. 5 seconds to shoot. Game clock with 9 seconds showing. Corzine, a turnaround, blocked by Mahorn with 3 seconds to play in the quarter. It's a 24-second violation, the shot clock going off, so the Pistons will have the basketball. Inbounding from the opposite side of the Piston bench. Chuck Daly wants an extra second put on the clock.
4 seconds.
Stan Albeck trying to get an explanation from Mathis. And it is 4.
Bulls need to pressure the ball.
Mahorn will try about a 30-footer. Drew a little net. And that's it. So John Long with a couple of key hoops, a three-point play in there. Benson with a slam jam down the lane. And the Pistons close out the third quarter with quite an offensive spurt. They lead it 88-86. Hang on for the final 12 minutes. It's coming up after this timeout. Guests on Piston Basketball will receive a gift certificate from Cousin Clothes and Cousins Big and Tall Stores, both on Southfield Road between 10.5 and 11.5 mile roads in Lathrop Village. And Chuck Daly will receive tonight's certificate. Pistons tonight with quarters of 28, 31, and 29. The Bulls with quarters of 30, 30, and 26. So the Pistons outscored them by 3 in that third stanza. Kent Benson with 12 boards in the ball game to go with his 8 points. He leads the Pistons in that rebounding department. Joe Dumars starts the third quarter, as does Tony Campbell in the lineup. Mahorn and Benson, the other front court guys, and Jordan scores. 19 for Jordan. The Pistons have to be fearful as of him exploding in the final quarter. Benny Johnson nails it. He just drilled that jumper, line drive style. VJ with 11, and the Pistons regain the lead of 90-88.
Well, if it's Vinny on Kyle Macy, you're going to see some more one-on-one basketball, just as you're seeing down here with Jordan and Dumars.
Dumars tried to hold up Jordan, picked up the foul.
It's obvious what the Bulls are doing, and they usually do this when they either need a bucket or down near the end of the game. They send 2 guys to each side of the lane, clear out that whole area, and let Michael go one-on-one.
Jordan at 6'6", Dumars at 6'3". Oldham, hook shot, got it back, put it down. Oldham with 9.
It's a vastly improved player there, Juwan Oldham.
Well, I'll say.
He used to be able to give him a dunk.
That's right. That's saying something. Dumars takes Macy to the hole, blocked by Oldham. No goaltender. Bulls looking to go in front. Good pass to Banks. Oh, my. Michael Jordan with a magic pass.
Well, he made that play. Gene Banks wasn't even going to go to the hole. Michael put the ball out there and made him go to the basket.
Irvin Johnson couldn't have done it any better. 92-90 Chicago. Benny Johnson fires. No bucket. Offensive foul against Kent Benson. Benson's second foul. Laimbeer back on the floor. Mahorn will sit down. Again, Laimbeer with 3 personal fouls, not 4.
Laimbeer will go the rest of the way for the Pistons. They'd like to buy another minute or 2 for Isiah. You can't let Chicago get too big of a lead.
Gervin might have tippy-toed, no call. Vinny Johnson with a strong rebound. Pistons looking to tie it up again. Laimbeer spots Campbell. Nearly had it poked away in a triple team, out of bounds to Chicago. Bill Laimbeer a little frustrated out there tonight. Bulls by 2. Michael Jitney leaves it back for Macy. He walks. 3-second violation. I think he had his choice that time. 3-second violation against the guys in white. Macy stole it. Dumars just never saw him coming. Here comes Jordan. Look out. Kyle Macy made that play. Costly turnover. Dumars just has to be looking for that. 94-90 Chicago. The crowd's going to go crazy every time Jordan touches the ball now. Benson rolled, but he didn't see it. Rebound kept alive by Dumars. Out of bounds to Chicago.
The Pistons need a timeout here. This bucket truck will probably call one if Chicago makes it.
Bulls by 4 with 9:25 to play. Laimbeer stole the bad pass. Boy, Jordan telegraphed that one.
Good move by Laimbeer, though. Good anticipation. Oldham didn't screen him off.
Dumars to the hole. Block back. Here comes Jordan.
Timeout.
Coming unglued. They need a timeout, family. Finally, it's called a 20-second timeout. But the house is coming down. It's 96-90. That's what they bought the tickets for, to see that.
Great block by Juwan Oldham. Again, the rookie Joe Dumars has had that happen to him now twice. The first time around the league, you don't know who's capable of what on the defensive end. He'll know better next time. But great plays by Oldham twice in this fourth quarter have helped turn this game around.
Bulls have ripped off the last 8 points to vault into that 6-point lead. Isiah Thomas will come back in following the timeout, and I would imagine Dumars will sit down.
Good timeout by Chuck Daly.
Take a look at it again. Michael scoping the scene and now getting ready to decide what kind of spectacular dunk he's going to make. Just the ordinary take off about the foul line extended and just flying like a bird.
Vinny with the 4 fouls chose not to go after him. Later in the game, he might have taken Michael's arms, make him earn those at the free throw.
Our next Pistons telecast on Pro-Am Sports will come from Pontiac next Tuesday as the New Jersey Nets will pay their first visit of the young season.
As you said, the Nets started off last night with a big win in overtime over the Boston Celtics. That's going to be an interesting team to watch this year, Fred. If Daryl Dawkins decides he wants to play.
So graceful.
I'll tell you, something like that is so electrifying. It really gets the crowd into the game, and that's one thing you can't afford to have happen when you're the visiting team. So this time down the court, Pistons need a basket. They've got to get this crowd back out of the game and back sitting back in their seats.
Pistons 1 of 4 shooting to begin the final quarter, thanks to 3 shot blocks by Chicago. The Bulls 5 of 7. This is a very noisy building when the home team is doing well. Isiah, 6 on the shot clock. He's got to do something. Fights it up, hit the deck.
And he is clumsy enough and really awkward enough of a player that if you go at him, he will pick up the clumsy foul. But Pistons have been making it easy for him, throwing up the shots from the distance and not going at him with the body.
Isiah with that first free throw miss in 7 attempts. He's now 7 of 8. He has 25 points. 5-point Chicago lead and possession.
And Michael Jordan has been on the court forever.
He's used to running 40, 45 minutes a night. Oldham gets it to Jordan. Cureton helped out. Great weak side help from Cureton on the shot clock. 96-91, 8:20 to play in the ball game. Vinnie Johnson, good crossover move. Lost Macy, put it down, he's fouled. PJ to the foul line. He has 13 points.
And we talked about it before this last timeout that whoever Kyle Macy is on, that's who the Pistons need to get the ball to. Vinnie Johnson is just so strong that Kyle's going to have to resort to slapping him to stay with him. You can't slap Vinnie Johnson and stop his shot.
Macy doesn't have a chance against he or Isiah, physically or with speed. A big, big three-point play by Vinnie. 96-94 Chicago. Isiah working against Jordan now. Gervin. Missed it. Comes out to Vinnie Johnson, a chance to tie. Inside 8 minutes to play.
They've switched on defense now.
Now it's Jordan on Vinnie Johnson. Isiah lost the pass. It was a little low.
Tough pass. Isiah was coming around the pick. Vinnie made the pass before Isiah could adjust his eyes.
4 of the 5 Piston starters in there. It's Tony Campbell in place of Cureton and a three-point shot by Mason. Boy, a steady shot at this time of the ball game.
Yes, it was, but you've got to play Kyle. You can never relax on him because he does have the great set shot. People that shoot 90% from the free throw line, you cannot give time to set up.
Isiah triple team. That leaves Cureton. Good night. 99-96 is our score.
And that's the shot by Earl. No pity-pattying around the rim. You've got to go up strong.
Cureton with 5. 7 minutes to play. Gervin. Gervin has 8. Last night he only had 4 in his first game as a Bull. Isiah long jumper. Nope. Not particularly a good shot in that instance. 101-96 to score. 6:35 remaining. Banks to the hole. Gene Banks. 8 points. Pistons down 7. It's getting away. Laimbeer to set a pick for Isiah. Double team by Oldham. One more and he's gone. Campbell's open. Fires. Good. Tony Campbell with a clutch J. He has 12. That draws it back to 5.
You got to look for the referees to eventually call a double team. They've been and a zone warning, which will put the Pistons at the line. They've been consistently doubling Isiah the whole second half.
And sometimes triple teaming. Jordan, 16-footer. Nope. Rebound Campbell. Beat Gervin to the basketball. Laimbeer set the pick. Isiah weaves. He was fouled. It should be Oldham. He's gonzo. 6th foul on Oldham. That'll bring Corzine in, and that'll certainly help the Pistons on the offensive end of the floor.
That opens it up a little bit more underneath for the Pistons to go to the hole.
Oldham was really a factor tonight, Tom, especially down at that end.
I'll tell you, he's a player that we looked seriously at, Pistons, some years ago. He was out there on the waivers, and as we've said several times tonight, couldn't play a lick, but always had the potential to be at least a mediocre player on the offensive end and a very, very good defensive player.
Isiah with another miss.
Pistons struggling at the line tonight.
Boy, a big pair. They're still down 5, 5:40 to play. Woolridge set the pick. Jordan lost it. Vinnie Johnson and Laimbeer just fired at Jordan. Michael doesn't like it. And now Woolridge is telling Laimbeer to get away. Stan Albeck, losing his cool, comes charging across the floor. Daly says, Stan, get on your chair. And now Daly and Albeck. How do you like this? When do you ever see this? Chuck Daly wants a piece of Stan Albeck. And now Vinnie Johnson. Stan Albeck had no business being on the other end of the floor, even though he's protecting the superstar. And Daly said, get out of my end of the floor. Now the crowd is wild. Jordan's got to know if he's going to the hole, sometimes he's got to pay for it. Superstars don't get everything. And now Albeck has lost total control.
I think they're throwing both coaches out of the game right now. Stan is really upset. Well, that's kind of unprecedented. I've never seen that happen in an NBA game before. Saw it happen in a Red Wings game last year when Nick Polano was going at it with one of the coaches.
Both of them are gone. You think Chuck doesn't want this ball game?
Well, Chuck's a little upset. You know, Stan Albeck came all the way down to the opposite free throw line. You really can't do that. You're not allowed in that territory. Stan, of course, is very emotional. Wanted to protect his player, but it was a good foul by Laimbeer. It was the smart foul, the correct foul.
Absolutely.
Don't give a guy the paint, particularly late in the game.
It wasn't malicious. We just put him down to the floorboard. Daly greeted with boos. Now an interesting decision here whether or not there will be a technical foul assessed. So Dick Carter will handle the coaching chores, and Stan Albeck, the diminutive sort, greeted with a standing ovation as he heads off the floor.
Stan's not the type you'd actually expect to take on any coach in the NBA or anybody. I'll tell you, last year we saw this in a game. See Stan leading, waving his arms like a drunken fighter.
He's still alive.
Last year, the Pistons got into a situation like this where there was a fight between Juwan Oldham and Bill Laimbeer right here on this court. Pistons with a commanding lead, and it turned it all around. Chicago went on to win the game. Jordan here, you'll see, will have the baseline. Takes it. Now Laimbeer puts him down hard. It's a physical foul. No question about it. Very physical foul. Laimbeer using the left arm to throw Michael down.
But the point is, you see that often enough in the NBA that it's not as if he took a shot at him. And Albeck came charging down, and that's when Daly and Albeck began exchanging words, and Stan may have said something to Chuck, and then Daly just wanted a piece of it.
I think Stan reached out and pushed Chuck, and we all have our own individual space we don't want violated, and touch Daddy Rich's clothes. Chuck really got upset. This is going to be a wild ending to this game. The emotion definitely on Chicago's side with these fans going crazy. And what could be a 7-point lead for the Bulls.
Dick Carter will now coach the Pistons. Not sure if it'll be Tex Winter or whom on the Chicago end of the floor.
Don't know whom's down there.
They've got 3 assistants.
Well, Tex gets the opportunity to kneel and look like the coach.
Winter is the guy that coached at Northwestern from 73 to 78. They also have Murray Arnold and Mike Tebow. So I believe it would be Winter. Jordan bangs them both down, 105-98.
Big time down the court right now. The Pistons need to try and take this crowd out of the game.
Isiah fell down. Somehow gets it back to Cureton. Laimbeer. Travel. Billy tried to act his way into a foul there and wound up moving his pivot foot. Delay of game warning, I believe, to the Pistons.
Going to take some strong referees to be able to call an even game with a crowd going crazy like this. Very emotional situation.
Both coaches have been ejected. Jordan with the hole, look out. Had it stripped though by Cureton, but Earl fouled him.
Earl Cureton is fifth. Third team foul.
Dick Carter has to make the decision.
That's a good substitution. You bring in your veteran right now. Tripucka has sat out all of the fourth quarter. Good offensive player that goes to the hole strong. Smart defensive player that can help out.
Jordan hits his 3rd in a row from there. Like he's hit 12 of 13 tonight. 27 for Jordan. Now a 9-point gap to make up with an even 5 minutes to play. Vinnie Johnson got a pick from Laimbeer. Vinnie rattled the iron. He has 16. 107-100. Isiah working against Jordan on a clear out. Jordan scores. Michael posting up the much smaller Isiah Thomas. Jordan with 29. Isiah wants it back. He was fouled by Macy.
Isiah go to the line, but the line is one place the Pistons have been losing this game tonight. Isiah missed 2 crucial ones a minute ago. Isiah just has Kyle Macy all by himself. This is what you're going to see as we go down the stretch. Michael Jordan at one end, Isiah Thomas at the other end. Pistons are going to have more than Isiah alone to cut down this lead of Chicago's.
Isiah comes back hitting a pair after a couple of misses. 109, 102, 4:30 to play. Piston press is broken. Woolridge short. What do we got? Loose ball foul against Chicago. It's Jordan.
Well, Michael was wrapping up Isiah down there. There's a lot of ego involved in this game. You have 2 superstars, Jordan and Thomas, neither of whom want to be embarrassed, both of whom want to win this game for their team. A lot of pushing and shoving down there.
Important to note the Pistons still have 1 more foul to give. Chicago over the limit. Jordan with 4 personals. Isiah for a big pair. That's his 28th point. That slices it to 6. 4:16 remaining. .109, 104. Woolridge will break it. Cureton taking away that left side. Woolridge from 14, missed again terribly. Laimbeer staying on his tiptoes to clean off that rebound. Pistons can draw within 3. Laimbeer tries to do it. He does. Banks it home. Laimbeer with 13.
Nice pass by Isiah Thomas. One-on-one with Jordan. Everybody knew Isiah was going to shoot. Laimbeer filled the left lane. Kissed it nicely off the glass.
I think Dick Harder's pulse rate has gone up a little bit. Under his direction, the club is now within 3. He loves a challenge. He's had a great coaching career at the collegiate level, Harder has. Jordan, nope. Rebound comes out to Isiah. Here comes a 2-on-3 rush. Isiah carried it. Good call by Mathis.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Chicago's gone a little
Isaiah's
cold
not
here.
hit with that violation very often, but Mathis was right there to make the call.
Well, Michael cut across his path. As he did, Isiah just picked the ball up a little higher and turned it over. He's not hit with a call, as you say. He does that. That's his hesitation dribble, as he likes to call it.
Timeout Chicago. I'll tell you what, Tom, I think the officials have done a pretty good job tonight under really what has become a hectic situation here.
Well, now at least the Pistons have taken the crowd out of the game, and that's going to help the Pistons.
109-106 Chicago. We'll be back for the furious final 3.5 minutes. Stay with us. Chuck Daly and Stan Albeck came very, very close to exchanging blows. Both have been ejected. And a wild ball game. Sidney Green back on the floor for the Bulls, along with Dave Corzine, Michael Jordan, Kyle Macy, and Orlando Woolridge. It's Cureton, Laimbeer, Tripucka, Thomas, and Vinnie Johnson for Harder.
Oh, Michael pushed off.
Yes, he did. No foul call to it. Back to Macy. Vinnie came flying at him. Woolridge, good team defense. Ball was kicked, I believe. But it's going to be a loose ball foul against Chicago. Macy. That'll send Thomas back to the foul line. Boy, the Pistons adjusted very well defensively that time.
Tell you, Michael Jordan pushed Isiah right out of the television picture. No call. I tell you, superstars do get certain liberties on both ends of the floor.
Sure.
The Pistons were in the position to get a break, so if Macy did foul him, he picked up a smart one.
Isiah calmly drops that one in, so now he's hit 5 in a row after a pair of misses. He has 30 points. He's been a busy guy at the charity stripe tonight. Hits his 16th free throw. 1-point game. 3:15 to play. Jordan goes through 3 Pistons. Stops, pops, and hits. A shooter's touch that guy has. 30 for Jordan. What a battle he and Isiah had, although not necessarily head-to-head tonight. 111-108. Inside 3 minutes to play. Tripucka didn't take the shot. He was fouled, and boy, he was lucky because he was double-teamed in deep trouble. And I think just dribbling away to either get a pass off or a shot off, and he was fouled. Woolridge picked up his second.
Kelly may have been fouled early as they come over with the double. Felt he was there. It was dropped, and the call came later. The Pistons have done a good job on defense. The only basket that the Bulls have hit in the last couple of minutes was that little leaner by Michael Jordan that got a shooter's touch.
Tripucka with a dozen. 2:45 to play. A mismatch. Corzine with Isiah. Laimbeer has Jordan. He contested that one, an air ball. Give Billy credit for getting the hand up. Jordan had to shoot over it. Pistons can take the lead. 2.5 to play. Laimbeer fires. Go! Bill Laimbeer with a clutch J.
Bulls need a timeout. They're letting this get away. Got to stop the play and set it up.
Pistons by 1 at Chicago Stadium. 2:15 remaining. Isiah working on Jordan again. Woolridge with Cureton all over him. 5 on the shot clock. Corzine lost it. Jordan saves it with 3 on the shot clock. Missed it. Corzine follows. He was fouled. He'll go to the strike. Pistons nearly had the 24-second violation against the Bulls, but Jordan worked free for the shot. Corzine was able to follow. That's the 4th foul on Laimbeer. And even 2 minutes to play.
Pistons playing much better defense, though. Chicago having to work for everything they're getting.
112. Corzine has 6. Chicago regains the lead. Isiah leaves it for Laimbeer. 10 seconds in the shot clock. Jordan has picked up Isiah on the switch. Vinnie Johnson is free. Not much time to shoot now. Isiah hook. Put it in! A left-handed hook. I think he just threw it up hoping somebody might rebound it with a blue uniform on. Oh, down.
Great shooters, good great breaks.
Chicago is Isiah's hometown. Maybe that's why he got the roll. 114, 113 Detroit. 120 to play.
Pushing off also. Bad calls. 2 bad calls. He traveled to begin with. Used the left arm to push Earl off into the paint. Hope we get a chance to see it.
Woolridge muscled his way into that 2, and now he'll go to the stripe for an opportunity to put the Bulls up by 2. Earl Cureton with 6 fouls heads to the bench. Ken Benson replaces him.
Woolridge can be a very difficult player to defend because he's been shooting that outside shot so well, goes to the hole well too. Unless the referees help you when he travels, as we said he does invariably on that first step, you are in trouble.
Woolridge missed it though. Bulls by 1, 1:15 to play. Isiah was fouled in traffic. With the game on the line, and if he senses he's got a bit of a mismatch, which he certainly does with Macy, and the way he's shooting free throws tonight, we can look for him to go to the hole quite a bit in the final minute 13.
Seems impossible that Kyle Macy hasn't fouled out of this game at least 3 times. Isiah and Benny have taken turns going at him.
Isiah with 34. His career high, in case you're interested, 47 points. 116, 115, the guys from Detroit in front.
Pistons need a stop here. They've been playing good defense, forcing Chicago to run the clock down.
Coming up on 1 minute to play. Isiah had to handle Woolridge for a while. Jordan fires, misses, rebound Sidney Green. Back up, fouled from behind by Benson. Sidney Green took it away from about 4 or 5 pairs of hands.
Pistons so conscious of Michael Jordan that they're moving out to meet him. As they move out, it lets Chicago get the inside position. You see Woolridge go right around Benson. Got to screen him out.
So Green for a pair. Both. 117, 116 Chicago. 5 seconds to play. Johnson, offensive foul.
Oh, what a terrible, terrible call by Paul Mahorn. Kyle Macy had fallen over Vinnie Johnson. There was no way for Vinnie to get the shot off without initiating contact.
Boy, a big call. That one hurts.
Well, no favors tonight.
5th foul on Vinnie. See if it was the proper call.
Now Vinny's been over. Goes up for the shot. Boy, that is a real difficult call at this stage of the game.
He went straight up. Terrible call. Influenced by the home crowd, maybe. Jordan. Triple team. Stolen by Benson. Laimbeer saves it. Vinnie Johnson has it with 30 seconds to play. Pistons with a chance to go in front. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Benson set to pick. Isiah doesn't use it. Final 20 seconds to play. Isiah dribbled off his own shoe. He's in trouble. Out of bounds. A foul, though. Jordan pleading his case. Mathis not listening. Foul number 5 on Jordan. Isiah to the strike. What a game.
Michael knocked the ball away cleanly there. No reason for a foul. He's in good shape. Michael swings down on him. Not a smart foul by Jordan. Had Isiah in a lot of trouble. Had the Pistons in a lot of trouble because the 24 was working its way down.
I think Isiah doesn't relish the chance to go one-on-one with Jordan. Isiah now 10 of 13 for the line in this quarter alone. He has 36 points.
Big shot by Isiah because this puts the pressure on Chicago. If he misses, there is none.
Benson tried for the rebound. What do we got? Should have a jump ball. Hopefully that's it. Sidney Green kept a cool head. So did Benson. What in the heck are they rolling?
Looks like it may be a foul.
Oh, my. Yeah. Come on, Mike.
Yeah, they are.
Both were going for the basketball. Both had possession. That's a real hard one to believe. It comes with 13 seconds to play in a tie ball game. Benson is fouled out in disbelief. Mathis saying, get away.
Well, as we said, the Pistons have had no favors from the referees tonight. And admittedly, it's difficult to call a game when you're in front of a hostile crowd that's as emotional as this one, but to repeatedly make questionable calls.
But keep in mind, the Pistons, at worst out of this situation, will be down 2 and they'll have a chance at another shot. Benson's got to be real careful here. He doesn't get hit with a tee. A timeout.
Good timeout because they were getting very close to getting a technical, which could have put the game out of reach. Well, the Pistons should not be deprived of another chance with the ball, at least. Even if Corzine should hit the 2 shots, Detroit has another chance to tie the game.
Benson continuing to bark at Mathis.
It was an unbelievable call. I mean, at worst, it's a neutral decision. You might as well save face by going.
All right, let's look at it now. Benson on the far side. Green has him boxed out. You lost control there.
Now everybody scrambles. It's hard to foul anybody in that position. You've got to call that a jump. It's a victimless crime almost.
It looked like he pulled Green's leg down a little bit, but boy, I tell you.
And the foul was after that, I think, Fred. The foul was ruled because there was no whistle until they were down on the floor rolling.
Well, then I don't know how you could even imagine a foul then. Boy. Join us Tuesday for perhaps more mayhem. Boy, we've had a little bit of everything here tonight.
Yeah, that's 2 games. I don't know if they're all going to be like that this year, Fred, but the 2-pointer at the buzzer last night And this game looks like it's going to be more of the same this evening. And no pressure really on Corzine. Only needs to hit 1 out of 2 here to give the Bulls a lead. Not the similar situation with Randy Brewer last year.
ticks on the clock.
It is going to be Sidney Green maybe shooting the foul. That's right. Sidney beat the Pistons with 2 free throws last year in a similar situation.
Pistons with 1 less timeout than Chicago. Green last year an 80% free thrower, 76% for his NBA career. Only missed 1 tonight. He has 12. That puts Chicago in front. I would suspect a timeout after this free throw. 119-117. Nope. Pistons already had the play call. They're ready to go. This is it. Clear out for Isiah. Working against Jordan. 6 seconds. Fade away. Tough shot. Missed it. Laimbeer was fouled. He'll go to the strike. That's a big break.
Boy, that sure was.
Of the tallest order.
Pistons really with no shot. Isiah off balance. No play set up. Michael Jordan kept Isiah from penetrating. Laimbeer just wanted it more.
2 seconds to play.
No way should he have gotten this ball. Great play by Laimbeer. A lot of pressure on these shots.
Billy is 1 of 3 tonight. He's got the entire house howling and waving. One's down. 119-118.
We're going to try and freeze Laimbeer right now by calling the timeout.
What was the game, I think, 2 years ago where he hit a couple of shots to either win a game or tie? Was it Milwaukee a couple of years ago where maybe even there was no time on the clock? Do you remember that game?
He had a game against Milwaukee a couple of years ago where everyone else had fouled out, and he took control of the 4th quarter with fadeaway jump shots and big free throws down the stretch that I believe won that one for them. 2 years ago, Bill was one of the top free throwers and the guy that you would want up there, maybe more than any other Piston in a pressure situation. Free throw shooting fell off a little bit last year. 2 years ago, I think he was in the top 6 in the NBA.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think he was the top free thrower among all NBA centers 2 years ago. Last year, he dropped off to just a shade under 80%. In '84, the season we're talking about, he was up over 86%, nearly 87. That was the best of his career. 2 seconds of play, 119-118 Chicago. Where you hit the nail on the head. 2 games into the season, we've got a game that ended at the buzzer and a game that could be tied with 2 seconds to play. Chicago, meanwhile, had an overtime 24 hours ago. Now with a wealth of talent that keeps pouring out of the collegiate level the last decade, the NBA in a great resurgence.
It all comes down to this shot. The ball's very heavy right now. Pistons probably as confident with Laimbeer at the line as anybody else on the floor. The crowd's going to be into it right now. A lot of waving, things to disturb his concentration. Should he miss, Pistons need to foul immediately. They're going to try and freeze him again, Fred. Using up all their timeouts right now, Chicago is. Much like a field goal kicker in football. We saw Bo Schembechler do that against Iowa just a week ago.
Unfortunately, it didn't work. Boston has beaten Cleveland 105-100 as you see the timeout situation. Indiana is crushing New Jersey 83-67 in the 3rd quarter. And Milwaukee at halftime pummeling Atlanta 56-37. Speaking of close decisions, congratulations to Dave Urema and company. A last-second heroic victory and a Urema pass to Butch Roll to knock off Purdue this afternoon. Michigan, meanwhile, thumping Indiana. Also another final. Here's a surprise for you. At the Hemisphere, San Antonio 109, the LA Lakers 107. Denver leading Sacramento 60-41. in the second quarter of play at McNichols Arena. Laimbeer certainly had plenty of time to think about this free throw.
Well, yeah, the idea is to let them cool off. You know, when you're playing, you're in a rhythm. You want to get the ball and you want to shoot it, particularly after you've made the first one. That's the tough one. So it's good timeouts, good strategy. Again, should he miss this second free throw, if the Pistons foul immediately, there'll still be 1 second left on the clock, and they would have a chance. Of course, the Bull strategy would be to go down and miss the free throws. The clock then starts running on the miss, and the Pistons have 1 second to throw it the length of the court. But really right now, it comes down to whether or not Laimbeer makes this one shot to see whether the Pistons have a shot at going into overtime.
That's the scenario that Dick Carter would prefer. Last night, Laimbeer was perfect. To play. There was a foul. Or is that it? Loose ball foul, but I believe time is elapsed. The Chicago Bulls have won it. And I'll tell you what, the 2 timeouts may have worked. Laimbeer just pulled the string. The Bulls beat the Pistons twice on this floor last year, once in overtime, once by a point. Jordan for a sheer show here. These are the free throws you love to shoot. Now he hands it up left-handed, and they win. Chicago Bulls act like they just won the NBA championship. 121-118 Chicago. Crowd fired up on a Saturday night. They love it. We'll be back to wrap it up. Pistons in a heartbreaking defeat. Stay with us. Well, the Michael Jordan faithful feel some vindication. Bill Laimbeer, the man who put Jordan down to the basement that precipitated the Stan Albeck, Chuck Daly exchange of words, winds up missing the free throw that could have sent this game possibly into overtime, and Bill just flat missed it. I mean, not much more you can say than that. You aren't too many guys you'd rather have on the foul line than him in that situation.
No, that's right, and it's very seldom that a game will come down to where one shot you know is either going to make you or break you, and Bill just hit the front of the rim, came up a little short, and that's what tension will many times make you do. You seldom shoot long. You usually do come up short. And it was a game of ebbs and flows, certainly, and the Pistons just allowed themselves to fall a little too far behind in the fourth quarter and couldn't quite get back. They made a strong run at it, but didn't get a few breaks on a couple of questionable calls by the referees, at least in their opinions, I'm sure, and that helped put the game away for Chicago.
I don't think there's any question that the Pistons have more talent than the Bulls, but it seemed like tonight there were times where they had a chance to maybe really get a grip on the ball game. Didn't do it, and wound up paying for it at the end.
Absolutely right, and that's why I think Chicago is in such a celebratory mood when the game was over. They know that the Pistons have better personnel, but Chicago maybe wanted it a little more than Detroit did, certainly in the late going, and Pistons just ran out of gas.
And as you say, we talked about last night, not meaning a whole lot in terms of the overall scheme of things because the Pistons fall to 1-1. Milwaukee's going to beat Atlanta tonight. They're 1-1, so you're back Steven again. Let's look at the score sheet for the victorious Bulls of Chicago. Michael Jordan unofficially with 30 points tonight. He had a big 13-point quarter, but then you expect him to go nuts in the final quarter of any ball game. Orlando Woolridge had an 11-point third quarter, but only scored 1 in the final quarter, wound up with 29, and he did a lot of damage, certainly in the first half. Sidney Green had 12 points, including several key free throws down the stretch. But I believe he had 13, hitting 4 in a row in the final quarter. Kyle Macy had 10 points, hit a big 3-point J when the Bulls were in a little bit of trouble in the third quarter. And Juwan Oldham had 9 before he fouled out. George Gervin off the bench had 8 points tonight. For the Pistons, not much doing from Earl Cureton tonight. That was a bit of a disappointment. He had 5 points. Tony Campbell helped out, though, with 12 off the bench. Kent Benson had 8. Joe Dumars only had 4 tonight. Leading the way, though, Isiah Thomas with 36. He had a dozen in the final quarter of play, many of those coming from the foul line. In fact, all of those points coming to the foul line except for one field goal. 10 of 12 points in the final quarter from the stripe. Kelly Trapulka had 12 points. Don't have the final shooting figures, but Kelly didn't shoot very much tonight. John Long wound up with 8 points. Bill Laimbeer had 16. Vinnie Johnson was 16 in that losing cause. So the Pistons head home, just as they were not going wild in victory last night. They can't get themselves down because there's more basketball to play next week, obviously, in the ensuing 6 months to come. Be sure to join us tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 for Jackson Harness Racing from Northville Downs. Then stay tuned at 4 o'clock for college football, as the Florida Gators will host Virginia Tech from Florida Field in Gainesville. Then at 7 o'clock, it's Inside NASCAR, followed at 7:30 by more college football, as the Indiana Hoosiers will take on the Michigan Wolverines from Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. Our program lineup then winds up at 10:30 with harness racing from Windsor Raceway. Now for Tom Wilson, this is Fred McLeod saying so long from a rowdy Chicago stadium. Once again, our final score, the Chicago Bulls 121, the Detroit Pistons 118. The executive producer of Pro-Am Sports is William Glenn. Tonight's game was produced and directed by Michael Smith. Our associate producers are Jim Holly, Jerry Hausfeld, and Michael Andro. Our production coordinator is Christine Accavetti. This has been a presentation of Pro-Am Sports.